Lesson 2.2, Solving Two-Step Equations. You will need to write down all of these notes into your math notebook. You may want to have a couple of colored pens or colored pencils as you take these notes as well. In order to solve two-step equations, you need to ask yourself the following questions in this order. First, is there a fraction? If so, we will multiply every term of the equation by the denominator of that fraction. That will get rid of all of the fractions for us. Second, you'll need to ask yourself if there's an addition. If there is, we will subtract both sides of the equation by the number that is being added. Third, if there is a subtraction, you'll add whatever that number is to both sides of the equation. Fourth, if there's a division, you will multiply both sides of the equation by the number that is being divided. And fifth, if there is a multiplication, then you will divide both sides by the number that is being multiplied. Please pause the video and finish copying these 5 steps into your notebook. Before we do examples on paper, I would like to show you what this looks like in pictures. Please put your pencil down and just watch the screen. This is an example, 2x plus 2 equals 6. On the left side of the equation, we have 2x plus 2. On the right side of the equation, we have 6. The equation is balanced. In order to solve the equation, we need to get x alone on one side. We need to isolate the x. Notice the equation has an addition. It has a plus 2. So that means we will need to subtract 2 from both sides of the equation. By subtracting 2 from both sides, we keep the equation balanced. Next, notice there is a multiplication. In order to get rid of the multiplication, we have to divide both sides by 2. That isolates the x on the left side of the equation. It keeps the equation balanced, and it tells us that x is equal to 2. Let's try one on paper. Problem 1. (5x plus 12 equals negative 13). Go through your 5 steps and ask yourself the questions. Is there a fraction? No, there is not, so we can go to step 2. Is there an addition? Yes, there is. There is a 12. So that means we are going to subtract 12 from both sides of the equation. On the left side, 12 minus 12 is equal to 0, so we're left with 5x. On the right side, negative 13 and negative 12 is negative 25. Now we need to ask ourselves if there is a subtraction, and there is not. Is there a division? No. Is there a multiplication? Yes, there is a multiplication. The 5 is multiplied by the x. So we're going to divide both sides by 5. On the left side, 5 divided by 5 is just 1. So that leaves us with 1x, or just plain x, on the left. And negative 25 divided by 5 is negative 5. The answer is x equals negative 5. We do need to check to make sure we've done it correctly. Replace the x in the original equation with negative 5. And then work out the left side to see if it is actually equal to the right side. 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. Negative 25 plus 12 is negative 13. The problem checks we've done it correctly. Please pause the video if you need to so that you can finish copying this problem. Problem 2. Is there a fraction? In this case, there is. There is a 7 right here in the denominator. I know that most of you don't like working with fractions, so we're going to just get rid of them anytime we have one. The easiest way to do that is to multiply every term of the equation by 7. That means we have to take 6 times 7, m over 7 times 7, and negative 3 times 7. 6 times 7 is 42. M over 7 times 7, the 7's cross out and you're left with just m. And then negative 3 times 7 is negative 21. Next, is there an addition? In this case, there is not, so we keep going. Is there a subtraction? Yes, there is. We have a minus 21, so we're going to add 21 to both sides of the equation. 42 plus 21 is 63. Negative 21 and positive 21 is 0. That gives us 63 equals m, and so we are finished at that point. Let's check it and make sure we haven't made any mistakes. (63) divided by 7 is 9. (9 minus 3 is 6. So we've done the problem correctly. Problem 3. Once again, we have a fraction. So we're going to start by getting rid of that fraction. Since there's a 4 in the denominator, we will multiply every term by 4. We multiply the left side and the right side both by 4. On the left side, the 4's will cross out, and we are left with y minus 1. And on the right side, 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Next, is there an addition? No. Is there a subtraction? Yes. There is a minus 1 on the left side of the equation, so we need to add 1 to both sides. On the left side, negative 1 plus 1 is 0, so we're left with y. On the right side, negative 8 plus 1 is negative 7. Let's check our work. Negative 7 minus 1 over 4. Is that equal to negative 2? Negative 7 minus 1 is negative 8. And negative 8 over 4 is negative 2. Problem 4. Is there a fraction? Not this time. Is there an addition? No. Is there a subtraction? Yes. There is a minus 4 right here on the left side, so we need to add 4 to both sides of the equation. The negative 4 and the positive 4 equal 0, so we have a negative x on the left side of the equation, and 9 plus 4 is 13 on the right side of the equation. Now I'd like for you to think of this negative x as a negative 1x. That's negative 1 times x. It's the very same thing as negative x. So next, do we have a division? No, we do not. Do we have a multiplication? Yes, we do. We have the negative 1 times the x. Let's divide both sides by negative 1. Negative 1 divided by negative 1 is positive 1. So you have a positive x on the left side, And then 13 divided by negative 1 is negative 13 on the right side. We're going to check our work, replacing x with negative 13. Now be careful here. This negative is this negative. The x is the negative 13. Minus 4 equals 9. So you can see you actually have two negatives next to each other. Those two negatives become a positive 13. And we end up with 9 equals 9. This will be our last example for today. We'll go through the steps one more time. First question, is there a fraction? Yes, there is. We have a 4 in the denominator here, so we're going to multiply every term by 4. 4 times negative 8 is negative 32. 4 over 4 is just 1, so we're left with s. And 3 times 4 is 12, so plus 12. Next question, is there an addition? Yes, there is. So we will subtract the 12 from both sides. Negative 32 and negative 12 is negative 44. Negative 12 and positive 12 is 0. So we end up with negative 44 equals s. Let's check it. Negative 8 equals, replace the s with negative 44. Negative 44 over 4 is negative 11. And then negative 11 plus 3 is negative 8. So we have done this correctly. Please put a question mark next to anything that you had a question about with regard to these notes, and we will answer them in class tomorrow.